What is going on YouTube? Brand new series, brand new show. I'm excited. I am your host, Dalton Lee, for the All Things Ball. All Things Ball. It's a great day. A little bit about me. Played played high school football. I've loved the game since I was a kid. I've tried to be as honest about the game as I can be and love it. I just love the game. So everything I do is for the game. Hopefully, throughout this journey, I can entertain y'all, maybe teach y'all something, be educational, be fun. We're gonna have fun with this. I got several things I want to talk about today. Some recaps from some Thursday night games that happened, and then some previews for games tomorrow on Saturday. As of this recording, it is the Friday in between some Thursday night games and Saturday night games of week one. So, two games that a lot of people probably aren't going to care about, but I watched. I was in the lovely downtown Greenville while ECU was playing NC State. Even though it was in Raleigh, was in downtown Greenville for that game. And let me tell you, great time. Great time. Obviously, State won the game. It was a close game. Honestly, a little too close for comfort. I feel like if you're a State fan with any type of expectations. But, I mean, ECU was in it throughout the game. And it was interesting, to say the least. And another one is Duke and Elon. I'm really throwing that in there just because I am a Duke fan. First half was a little shaky. You know, you got 10-10 at halftime against Elon, that you're 30-point favorites to. Get shaky, but in the second half, they picked it up, got it together, 45-17. I mean, it's just a beautiful day. Nothing to really complain about. Maybe a little bit on offensive consistency, but it's week one with a new quarterback and basically new receivers. So they're just working out the kinks. So you got to give it a little time. So those are just two games I wanted to briefly touch on. I mean, I'm sure a majority of people don't care for that. But now we're into the good shit. That was the meat and potatoes of week one, right? First game that we have is noon on Saturday. Number 1 Texas versus number 3 Ohio State. I mean, what better way to start a full-on college football season? They give us number 1 and number 3 starting it out. Just like, yeah, here you go. It's great. It's great, right? We finally get to see Arch Manning take the reins as full-time starter. They just announced, I think late last week, Julian Sand is going to start for the Buckeyes. Interested to see what he'll do. It's very interesting to see what he'll do. It's very interesting what Arch is going to do. We've seen Arch play a little bit. And when he plays, he's explosive. But now teams have film on him. So now it's going to be, is he still that explosive? Is he still this? Is he still that? And I think we're honestly giving him a little too much pressure on his shoulders for the simple fact that his last name is Manning. I think we're putting the weight of the world on this kid. And I like the kid. He seems like a good guy. But it's just, I think we're putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on him just because of who he is. But I think he's going to turn out to be very solid. But even though I'm worried about Arch, I'm more worried about Julian Sand. Haven't seen the guy play football, at least in college. At least for Arch, I'd be like, yeah, I've seen him play. He does this, he does that, he does this, he does that. Whereas Julian Sand, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do tomorrow. And that doesn't really play into Ohio State's favor. Just like the fact of the amount of people Ohio State's replacing, especially on that defense. I understand they got Jeremiah Smith, who I think is the best football player in college football. But you need a little more than that. They got Caleb Downs on defense. Probably the best DB in college football. But you don't build your defense off of just one player. You need a group. So I just worry about Ohio State's depth and just their structured team. And that plays a big role, especially when Texas is coming in and returning a lot of pieces on this defense, making them what I think will be a top 2, top 3 defense in all of college football. The offense is going to be there for both. Both are going to be slinging, running. It's going to be a great game. But I'm taking Texas 34-31. The majority of the picks that I'm picking, I would also probably take in a form of gambling, however you do that, as long as you're allowed to do that. Second game tomorrow, 3:30. We got number 8 Alabama versus unranked Florida State. Maybe asking, why are we even talking about this? It's number 8 Alabama versus Florida State. Well, in my mind, I like to think it's a little bit of a rivalry. You know, you got Alabama right there next to that Florida line. You know, and plus, these are 2 blue blood teams. You know what I mean? I can remember all my life Alabama being great. Shout out Nick Saban. And then, you know, Florida State, even though it went through a couple different coaches, they've always been really, really good. So I'm like, you know, this is just, in my mind, 2 blue bloods playing out. Granted, Florida State's coming off of a very bad year. Won 2 games. 2-10. It's not good. It is not good at all. Alabama kind of, you know, a lot of people would say underwhelmed. Had 3 losses. Didn't make the playoffs. Hell, didn't even qualify for, didn't even qualify for their conference championship. I mean, so you got 2 teams trying to prove something. But I think the bigger hot seat out of the gate, I think it's on DeBoer. Okay? Because even though he's only been there a year, last year's not the standard. I mean, we say it's not standard. They went 6-3 in conference play. Granted, he lost to Michigan's backups in the bowl game, which you can't do. But, I mean, I feel like DeBoer's on the hot seat. If he doesn't at least make the playoff and possibly win a game this year, they're going to be looking to probably can him. Which I think would be a little early, would be a little premature. But that's Alabama for you. They don't play around, especially when it comes to football. But, so I think DeBoer out the gate is going to be coaching his tail off. I'm interested to see this quarterback play, Simpson. I haven't seen a whole lot of film on him. I don't know what we're going to get out of him. You know, I mean, Alabama's notorious for having some of the greatest game managers. I wouldn't say playmakers per se from the quarterback position, but game changers, game managers. It's just going to be interesting just to watch him play. And it's going to be interesting to watch the quarterback on the other side, Castellanos, Boston College transfer, coming into Florida State. Very mobile guy, has a good arm. His accuracy can be hit or miss. But I'm interested to see what he'll do at Florida State. And I know he's been talking some big game, especially since they're playing Alabama week 1. He's been talking some big game. So I'm worried, is that motivating that defensive line a little bit? But it's going to be interesting to watch him play. You know, it almost, I don't want to compare it to, because Jordan Travis was actually really good in college until he broke his leg. But I feel like they can kind of run that style of offense with Castellanos, what they were doing with Jordan. Even I think Jordan was obviously bigger and had a better arm. They can run that style offense, add some RPOs, some read options, just to keep a defense on their toes. So I think that would be really interesting. And we get to see Ryan Williams again play football, who I would argue is the second best wide receiver in college football, right behind Jeremiah Smith. So we get to go from Jeremiah Smith to Ryan Williams. We get to watch two great wide receivers on the same day. It's going to be a great day. Obviously, I'm taking Alabama in this game. I'm taking Alabama 35-13. I don't think this Florida State team is for real. I give them all the credit in the world. And, maybe they surprise. And I'd be ecstatic if they were to surprise people. But I don't think they're going to surprise us that much. At least tomorrow, at least. Now we're on to tomorrow night's game. LSU in Death Valley at Clemson. This is probably going to be, I would think, the second best game of the weekend. But it's crazy that we get this, which is number 9 LSU, number 4 Clemson. Might be the other way around. But it's top 10 matchup again. It's crazy that we're getting 3 top 10 matchups within the weekend, including Sunday's matchup. It's just, what did we do to deserve this type of treatment? This is great. It's great. We'll get to see Klubnik make his not first start. We'll see him start his year, senior quarterback. We'll get to see Nussmeier come back as second-year player returning. It's going to be interesting to watch them two duel it out. I like Klubnik. I think he's up there for one of the better quarterbacks in this draft, but I also think the same about Nussmeier. Both of them pretty accurate. Normally get the ball out pretty quick. But I'm not going to be looking for the offense really tomorrow. Even though both got playmakers, and there's going to be more playmakers that come out of there. It's just how it is with those two programs. I'm more interested about these defenses. Specifically, is LSU going to keep up defensively? Because I know what Clemson's got on defense. They got potential All-Pros on D-line, Peter Woods, potential All-Pro at linebacker and DB. I don't know really who is going to be that guy from LSU. And maybe on Saturday that guy makes a statement and plays out of his mind. But as of right now, I don't know who he's going to be. At least I can put names with faces on the Clemson defense. And as an ACC fan, we kind of need this win. I'm a fan of all college football, but I am going to have a little bias to the ACC because that's where my favorite team plays. So anything that I think can help the ACC, I'm for. I think the ACC needs this win. So they can say, hey, we're not a one-trick pony. We can handle some of the big dogs. And for LSU, you have to finally get on track. You've had Brian Keller for, I can't remember if this is 3rd or 4th year. You've had him for 3 years, have yet to make a playoff. And the whole point was because he said he couldn't recruit at Notre Dame. You're at LSU, you should be able to recruit in-state and local around it. And you just consistently won 9 games. You had a Heisman. Couldn't even make a playoff. And that guy was like 2nd or 3rd overall pick and took the Washington Commanders to the NFC Championship. Like, that guy is phenomenal. And you couldn't even make a playoff with him. I think Brian Kelly's on the hot seat. I think if he doesn't make a playoff this year, he's going to be out of Baton Rouge, which I can't blame him. I feel like you've been getting the short end of the stick for a while now. So, I think it's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be very entertaining, very fun. I'm taking Clemson, though. I feel like with Clemson, I have less questions than I do LSU. With Clemson, same quarterback. It's same defense. Several players are returning from last year, and last year's team was pretty good. It just had a slow start and ended the year kind of rough. Whereas LSU, I mean, outside of Nussmeier, a lot of changes coming on that team. It's just going to be, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I have more faith in Clemson at this point. Um, and then before we get into the big game on Sunday, I'm gonna touch on two other games that are happening Saturday during some of the other games, mainly because I got good friends of both these teams. Just want to talk about them. I know me and them talk about it a little bit. So on Saturday at noon, same time as Texas Ohio State, the Syracuse Orange played them 24 Tennessee. And immediately looking at the game, you're going, oh, Tennessee by whatever the spread is. And I would agree, but Syracuse is coming off of a good year last year. I don't know what they're going to do offensively or defensively. I feel like they didn't really get a whole lot better. I feel like offense was kind of carried by Kyle McCord and that passing game last year. But even still, it is week 1. And they're playing a Tennessee team that has done nothing but made noise all offseason. And not the good kind. Your quarterback transfers out during the spring over a dispute that some people will claim is about money. I think from what had really come out, it was the fact that the offense wouldn't grow with Nico Iamaleava. And I think he just wanted an offense that was going to help him grow and be NFL ready. Because you look at Nico play, and he's got all the traits. He's got a good arm. He's mobile. He's pretty accurate. He's big. So I got tired of watching him just throw RPOs all game. But that is Tennessee's offense. So you look at that and you're like, So yeah, he leaves, goes to UCLA. Hopefully he gets an offense that's more catered to him wanting to grow and become better. But they got Syracuse, Tennessee playing tomorrow in Atlanta. I'm probably still going to take Tennessee, but I wouldn't be shocked if Syracuse keeps it a one-score game for majority of the game. Maybe they tighten their bootstraps, have a couple chances to tie it or take the lead. But I'm still going to pick Tennessee in like a 24-17, 24-21 type matchup. But it's going to be a good game, I think. And then the other game being played in Atlanta on Saturday, a good friend of mine, South Carolina fan. We have Virginia Tech playing South Carolina. Now, Virginia Tech had a pretty stout defense last year. They had a pretty solid team. I like that quarterback over there, Drones. I think he's pretty good. He kind of reminds me of a poor man's Jalen Hurts, the way he plays. I think Virginia Tech's got a lot of good things going for him. But this South Carolina team, let's just talk about this South Carolina team real quick, okay? So last year didn't make the playoff after being one of the hottest teams to end the year, right? And they were like 3 plays away from making a playoff, okay? Pick 6 called back in the LSU game because of blocking the back, taunting. I can't remember off the top of my head which penalty it was. Alabama literally came to the last throw of the game after you recovered an onside kick with a chance to win it. I mean, just those two right there. Like, you flip one of those games, you're in with the way they finished. Because, I mean, they beat Clemson. They beat all the other big dogs on the way throughout their schedule. They had kind of a tough schedule last year. And still only lost 3 games. And they were right there to make the playoff. I like their odds to make the playoff this year. I like Lenora Sellers. That guy, I wish his arm's a little more consistent, personally, but I like what he can do. He's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. That guy can move. That guy has good weapons around him. Solid offensive line, solid offensive coaching. I think they're going to put up some numbers this year. And I think they're going to make playoffs. I think they're going to make some real noise in the SEC. I like them in this game over Virginia Tech. I don't think Virginia Tech can keep up. I'm thinking somewhere in the lines of like 35 to 14, 35-17. I just don't think Virginia Tech is going to keep up. And I think South Carolina's going to get up big early, and just keep a foot on the neck and run that clock and call it a day. Now, we're on to our last game already. I feel like this video is going by really quick. But, first video, working out some kinks, working out how to flesh these out a little more. So, anybody watching, give me a shout out. Tell me what I can do. If you want me to get a little more in depth, I will. Just trying to cover all the bases, give a little brief talk about them. But the good thing is we can only go up from here. And that's the whole point. I'm trying to grow the channel, help me grow in terms of just honest feedback, support, the whole nine. Because why not? I would love to have fans that grow with me as I grow. I think it'd be beautiful. Genuinely would be beautiful. Going into the last game on Sunday. Not the last game. I think there's another game also being played, but the game that matters on Sunday. Number 6 Miami versus number 10 Notre Dame. This is the third top 10 matchup of the weekend. Again, blessed. We're just blessed by the football people. But there's a lot of question marks for both teams going into this season. Into this game. For starters, Carson Beck is the starting quarterback for Miami. I don't know how that's going to work out in the end. Right? I understand they played this game before. Cam Ward comes in from Washington. Right? Washington State? I think Washington State. Comes in, and he just was phenomenal last year. He was the reason they were in majority of the games because they couldn't play defense. So they just had to score. And luckily he was good enough to put up points consistently, and a lot of them. So, he carried a lot. I don't know if Carson Beck can do that. I feel like his best years in Georgia was when he had a solid run game, had good play actions with open targets. So if Miami is trying to put the weight of the offense on his shoulders, I don't know if it's going to work that well. I think we'll get more Carson Beck of last year. Lots of turnovers, a lot of bad field position, putting defense in tough spots. And that was when he was at Georgia, putting that defense in tough spots, give up points. This Miami defense is nowhere close to Georgia. Nowhere. I understand that through transfer portal, they've gotten better. They've brought in recruits. It's not Georgia level. Not even close. So how are we even going to compare the two? So I got questions on that. And then on Notre Dame, I don't know what they're doing offensively. That defense is going to be great. It always is under Marcus Freeman. It's going to be great. I don't know what they're doing offensively. Last year, they couldn't even throw the ball. And they had a quarterback that I thought was potential dark horse to be a Heisman, Riley Leonard from Duke. And they could not throw the ball to save their lives. And I think it's a mix of the fact Riley Leonard could never get into a rhythm because he didn't have consistent receivers that made plays. So it's kind of it was just the offense as a whole. They could run the hell out of the ball, and they ran the ball very well. Makes me happy as a former offensive line guy. I love watching people run the damn ball. Shout out Chandra Bullock. But I don't think Notre Dame is going to be able to do a whole lot throughout the season, at least, with just running the ball. I feel like they got to have some form of air game, something. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do on offense for sure. That defense is going to be great, and I think that's going to be their big reason that they'll probably win the game. Because I'm still looking at Notre Dame, even though I have questions on what they're going to do offensively outside of running the ball. Notre Dame's elite team. Miami, I don't know. I mean, I didn't think they were that good last year, and I understand for a majority of the season they should have been a playoff team up until last week when they lost to Syracuse, got out of the ACC championship, and then that was it. But I don't even blame the offense for that. The offense could score at will. I blame defense. Defense could stop anybody to save their lives. And I understand if the defense is slightly better this year, I'm happy for it. I'm happy for it, especially because, again, another ACC team trying to make the conference look good. But I'm worried what Carson Beck's going to do. I'm sure when we get to ACC play, he might start torching up some guys, but this is Notre Dame. There's going to be 3 to 5 guys minimum on that defense that are going to the NFL. I'm interested to see what he is going to do. It's going to be a tough game. But I'm picking Notre Dame, 27-17. And that's all the games I really talked about and touched on. I will also say, caught the ending of, I have a little notebook. I write everything that I'm going to talk about, but there always are going to be some things that I talk about that aren't written down. Like, for starters, Boise State lost. Bad to South Florida. Like, it might have been like 38-7, but I think when I last saw it was like 31-7. That offense is lost without Ashton Genty. It's kind of ugly. It's an ugly offense. And I had not high hopes, but I thought they'd be, a little more consistent on offense. I figured maybe Madison, year 2, year 3, be able to air raid a little more, No. Couldn't hardly complete a pass. And I don't think South Florida's like that. Granted, Boise State was ranked 25th. They were the last ranked team. But I figured they were going to be at least a little better than what they were. But, they weren't. That defense didn't... They looked good in the first half. They held them 10 points. I mean, it was 10-7 South Florida at halftime. So I was like, this defense is still here. Still playing their tails off. But in the second half, it just unraveled when you have no consistency on offense. So, I just wanted to briefly talk on that because I think Boise State is obviously not going to do what they did last year. And I think our best bet for a team that's going to pull a Boise State is probably going to be either... I like Iowa State. I like Arizona State still. I think it's going to be one of those guys. Arizona State, Iowa State. Hell, I understand they lost week 1 and they're already 0-1 in their conference. Kansas State looked good in the week 0 matchup between Iowa State and Kansas State. That was a great game in Dublin, Ireland. We didn't even talk about that. That was a really good game. If you're just a fan of football, first half is pouring down rain. The ball is... it was kind of ugly in the first half, in a muff punt with Dylan Edwards, who then got hurt and didn't finish the game, which was interesting. Then you had, muff snaps all out throughout the first half, could only run the ball. It was like kind of an ugly game, but it was, again, for a former offensive lineman, I love watching him run the ball, so it was very fun. And rain games were the best, in my opinion. You were allowed to get dirtier. And I feel like offense has slightly more advantage because at least you know where the ball's going. So if you and the defense can't really function on movement, offense should have a slight advantage because you know where the ball's going. They don't. But then we got to the second half. Rain had stopped, and the passing attacks for both teams just opened up. I remember Rocco Beck, maybe his second drive in the second half, went like 5-5, 60-something yards, touchdown. And then Avery Johnson, went like 3 for 3, 60-something yards, touchdown. I was like, yes, offensively. Because we had run games in the first half that were pretty good, and then the play actions were opening. But Iowa State came out and then 24-21 because Kansas State had a chance. Had final possession, had a chance. Had kind of moved the ball a little bit, got the fourth down. Couldn't convert, and then that Kansas State defense could not stop Iowa State on checkdowns and running the ball just to run the clock. So it was a very good appetizer to what I think will be the main course this weekend. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great football season. It's going to be interesting as the season goes on. Who comes up, who comes down. Because I know I only talked about big matchups, but it's going to be interesting to see what Michigan's going to do, right? Freshman Bryce Underwood. How's he going to develop? What's he going to become? That's going to be interesting. I mean, Georgia's Georgia. It's going to be a stacked defense. Interested to see what Gunnar Stockton can do as a full-time starter. I didn't think he played that bad in the SEC championship game last year when he had to come in for Carson Beck, but I would like to see how he's going to play with a full year of offense under his belt. Full off season. Just see what happens. I think if he plays like Jake Fromm in years past, they'll be a solid team. They'll make the playoff, no problem. Probably be up in some big games. You know, I'm interested to see what Florida's going to do. DJ Lagway. He didn't play super amazing. He played solid last year, but he got better as the season went on, and the team got better as the season went on. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen there. There's going to be a lot of dark horse teams as the year goes on. But that's all I got this week. Next week, there's going to be 2 videos. There's going to be a video, 2, maybe 3. Because I'm going to recap the game. I think it's going to be 2. I'm going to recap the games from this weekend, talk about those, and then I'm going to go over games from the next weekend, college. And I'm going to do a separate video because we got the NFL starting next weekend. So I'm going to try and get the second video out before Thursday because obviously Eagles-Cowboys, Thursday Night Football. Then we got the Chiefs playing the Chargers on Friday night in Brazil. Full slate of Saturday games for college football. And then we got Sunday night. We got Sunday football and Monday. So next week we're full on into it. And I'm ecstatic. But I appreciate you watching the video. If you enjoyed anything you saw, anything you liked, leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to build this from the ground up. And I will appreciate all the support from everybody. Thank you. Have a good day.